The Bible tells us in James that God hears the prayer of the righteous. So it makes sense that if there's somebody more righteous than us, we should ask them to pray for us. And who's more righteous than the saints who are in the presence of Christ? But is that really what James is saying? James says the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails or prevails much. What makes you righteous according to scriptures? This is important. The word for righteous and just are the same word in the Greek. Now, James, to illustrate that God hears the prayer of a righteous, points to Elisha. Elisha was a man subject to like passions as we are. He was like you and I, emotional. He had his ups and downs. He had his shortcomings. He was a man like the rest of us. Yet he prayed, and God answered his prayer and sent rain. So why did God answer his prayer if Elisha's just like you and me? Well, what makes you just? What makes you righteous? Well, the Bible tells us, the just shall live by faith. It's the prayer of faith that God hears and answers, not the prayer of someone who is intrinsically righteous. So somebody more righteous than you doesn't have greater access to God. The reason God might not hear your prayer is because you're not asking in faith. And a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. For example, lack wisdom. You can ask God for wisdom, who gives to all men liberally. And he does not upbraid, but let him ask in faith. When you read the scriptures, read it in context. Don't read the scriptures in the context of what your church teaches or the doctrines your church has added to your tradition. Read the scriptures in the context. James begins with God answering prayer liberally, abundantly, without partiality, but with this one caveat: you must ask by faith. It is our faith that gives us access to God. It's by faith that God hears and answers our prayer. So the prayer of a righteous or a just man, a man who is justified by faith, a man who is asking by faith, will prevail.